Alright, this problem is asking for density altitude, and we're given altimeter setting, temperature, and airport elevation. So I'll show you how to do this using the chart one time, and then we'll show you how to do it using the E6B. So the first thing we have to do is, since we're given a non-pressure altitude. So this first chart uses pressure altitude. Now pressure altitude is the altitude read off the altimeter when it's set to 29.92. Well, what we can see from the problem is that the altimeter is actually set at 29.25. So we can't start with this chart because we don't have pressure altitude yet. So what we do is we have to go to this chart to the right, and we have to determine what pressure altitude is. So we are given an altitude of 5,250, but this is for the altimeter setting of 29.25. So this chart to the right will help us adjust this information to get pressure altitude. So what we'll do is we'll find 29.25, well, and it's not on this chart. It's in between these two. So what we do have to do is we have to come up with an average between these two numbers, because 29.25 is going to be about the middle, so we'll have to average these two numbers. So 673 plus 579 divided by 2 gives us about 626. So now we can add 626 here, and that'll give us the pressure altitude, which pressure altitude is the altimeter setting at 29.92. So pressure altitude is 58.76. So now we can go back, and now we can use this chart because we have now pressure altitude. All right, and we're also given a temperature, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to come down to about 81 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to draw a line until we get to the pressure altitude of 5,870. So I'm just going to draw this line straight up, and then so pressure altitude, we're looking for 5,000. So 5,500 is about in the middle. 5,000 is going to be about right there. So drawing across, now we can see that the density altitude is going to be somewhere around 8,300, 8,500, somewhere around there. So that's working the problem using the charts. So let's go ahead and use the E6B to get density altitude. So the density altitude is going to be this about 8,300, 400 feet. Using the E6B, we're going to go into the headings, pressure, density, altitude, and we're going to enter 5,250 feet. Altimeter setting is 29.25. Now what we're given is that we are given the temperature in Fahrenheit, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. But what you'll notice is that the function is asking for Celsius. So what we have to do is we have to enter the 81, but before we hit enter, we have to convert this from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and we're going to use the convert function from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and then enter. And that's going to give us our density altitude of what it exactly is, 8,545 feet. So we were close, but more accurately from the E6B, we're seeing 8,545 feet density altitude.